Yes, sir. What's up, y'all? We're back. We are Gifted Eyez Podcast. This is your captain speaking. I'm Peter Pilot, also known as Pilot P, and I'm here with my co-host,
JD.
I'm here with my other co-host,
R3.
and we got a special guest to the dynasty.
Yes, sir.
What's up, everybody? My name is Mohammad Uddin. A subscriber since the jump, so super excited to be on the pod and get down to it.
That's what I like to hear.
Welcome.
That's a real loyalty right there. Be like Muhammad. If you're trying to get on this, be like him.
For real.
But, before we jump into the topic, we want to know a little bit about you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do fun facts, rapid fire. You ready for it?
Let's go.
Yes, sir. All right, ready?
Shoot.
Are you sure?
Of course.
Always ready.
Let's get it. Number one, nickname.
Big Mo.
Big Mo.
Big Mo.
Zodiac sign.
Scorpio, love it or hate it.
I think we might have to hate it. Favorite food.
Anything my mom makes, it's always good.
Home cook.
Mama's boy. Favorite sport.
I'm gonna say football.
I'm gonna tell you a fun story. I used to lay him out on the football field.
I call him Big P for a reason, bro.
Superpower.
I would want to know every language in the world, from the most obscure to the most well-known. Communicate with anybody and everybody.
Okay.
That's dope.
Passions.
Anything to help people out, be a mentor, help them get to whatever phase and place they want to be in life. So my siblings, my friends, anybody I can encounter and help get them to their goals.
See, this is why he's perfect for this. And hobbies.
I got a lot. So right now I'm trying to train for a half marathon. Me and my brother, shout out Rahim Uddin, first Bengali on the Sierra basketball team.
Yes, sir.
So anything fitness, outdoors, hanging out.
I actually saw your brother the other day. He's big.
He's big now, yeah. He's Mr. Cool Guy.
Yo,
Mr. Cool Guy.
I remember he was short and chubby.
Yeah.
But now
No, you're right.
he's brolic now. Like, he's huge and brolic. Like,
Yeah, bro. If we fist fight, it's a battle now.
It's a battle.
It used to be a rap before, but
he's big bro now.
nah. Slow down, bro.
He's big
Slow
bro
down.
now.
Nah, you're big.
But shout out to him. That's an accomplishment right
That's
there.
good.
You feel me? But yeah, so the topic today is, what is a man? No, I'm just kidding. So we're gonna just talk about manhood and like the transition from being a young man, actually starting from being a boy to a young man to a real man. You feel me? But yeah, so just to start it off, like, how were you when you were, let's say, a boy, like growing up under your parents and just learning the ropes?
Yeah, I think when you're younger, you don't really like think about these things. You just kind of like be and do, right? So it's like you just want to go outside, you want to have fun, you want to be out chilling with your friends. Like you do whatever, like you talk back to your parents. Like the world is very small to you. It's just
you get your ass beat.
Yeah, yeah, bro. That makes you grow up, so that's a part of the process, But yeah, no, I think like early on, it's just your world is very small. You just kind of think about like, all right, what's in it for me? Like, am I having fun? It's very I-centric. And I mean, I think that's the first phase. What was it for you guys? Like, I know for me, it's just like, all right, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna stay out however late I want, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna not clean my room, whatever. It's just like me-centric.
Valid. That's a very important point. I think I was pretty much the same way too, because like growing up in a household of all women, I was the only man, so I had some flexibility of doing like whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I did live in a Haitian household, a Haitian mother. So again, I got my ass beat for every bad thing I did. You feel me? But I did have a little bit more freedom than my sisters.
Yeah.
So it was always what I wanted to do. But growing up, as again being the only male, I had certain responsibilities I had to take care of. Then I could do what I wanted to do. You feel me? So I guess our upbringing is pretty similar in that way.
Yeah. I feel like for me, I had a good balance of a lot of different things. Like from middle school, we actually went to the same middle school. I feel like it was predominantly white, right?
Yeah.
But when I would go to after school at Peterson, mostly black people. We lived in the projects, mostly black people.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So like I learned at an early age like how to code switch when I needed to. Like school was got kind of serious. Like I wasn't super serious in terms of like schoolwork, but like I knew I had to get work done, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also had fun with my friends there. And then once I leave school, I know I could have way more fun after school. When I'm outside in the projects, it could be wild or whatever, not crazy.
Yeah.
But like I still know how to have fun but also be responsible. So like growing up, I feel like I had that good balance of learning learning how to act in certain scenarios, so which translates to 10 down. So like I can go to any environment and act responsibly or act accordingly. You know what I mean?
That's a beautiful point.
Yeah.
I would have to say, so I you know, growing up in my household, you know, we had rules and, you know, we always had to follow them, you know, stuff like that. And I always, you know, I'd be like, damn, like, why do I have to follow these? You know, and like, I'd follow them, but I learned I can follow them and still have fun. And not only that, I'm the oldest out of 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of raised a little bit more different than my, you know, my brothers and sisters. Cause like, I was more responsible for like them and enforcing those rules on them as well. Like my parents, you know, they made sure like, I used to hear all the time, like, if something happened, like, and they did something, well, you're the oldest. What were you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you stop that? You know, stuff like that.
Valid, yeah.
So I learned, you know, to follow the rules that my parents gave me, and, you know, also to be like a leader, kind of. I had to, you know, enforce those rules on my siblings. My siblings, you know, like, when they break stuff like that, like, I had to, you know.
Yeah.
So it made me get that sense of responsibility at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really thankful for that, you know. And, you know, I could tell you, you know, stories. I got my ass beat for being the oldest, you feel me? Like,
Talk about it.
I remember one time, and so one of the rules was, you know, you have your school clothes. When you come home, you could play. Like, you could have fun, but you can't play and have fun with school, you know, your school clothes. Well, when I tell you, if you got grass stain on your school jeans, bro, it was a wrap. A wrap.
Yeah.
But, you know, stuff like that. Like, you could follow the rules and still have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know?
And it's interesting you say about like being the older one and putting your siblings in check. Cause like I didn't get that until like a little later on when I noticed like my siblings were looking up to me. So when I am disrespectful to my mom or like I'm staying out too late, like that's just setting precedent for them. It's like, and then you face those consequences later on. Cause like, oh no, you know, big bro did it, so I can do it too. Like I had to learn that quickly. Cause it's like, it's just a me thing. Like I'm just looking out for me. I'm having fun, but it's like other people are observing me too.
Yeah.
And when I realized that, I was like, all right, I gotta check myself a little bit, you know. But
That's a good one.
Now I think you made a really good point, and like the unspoken responsibility, like a young boy transitioning to a young man, and then eventually becoming a man, a fully grown adult. There's an unspoken responsibility that a man has to go through. That people don't really realize. Like other men, we understand it because like that's what we have to go through, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's overlooked in society. Do you feel like you have the same kind of like emotions or ideas to that?
Like now compared to back then? Yeah, repeat the question one more time for me. I'm just trying to process it a little better.
Got you. So what we talked about is like a young man's responsibility, especially in the family.
Yeah. And
if the father is not explicit, and a lot of times, you know, people don't come from 2-parent households, usually single mother households. So they don't really get that explicit knowledge on how to become a man. You feel me? But growing up, just understanding dynamic, understanding how women operate, understanding how men operate. As a man, you automatically can see, if you're paying attention, you can automatically see that you have a certain responsibility in your family.
Yeah.
Is that something that you realized at a young age, or is that something that, you know, someone in your family had to tell you, like a uncle or maybe like an aunt or someone older who gave you that wisdom, or did you have to figure it out on your own?
Yeah. All right. So a little background on me. You know, my family, we're first generation. I'm the oldest. We grew up in the projects too. You know, that's how I know you guys. Me and Janelle went to the same school, so it was a lot of like that code switching. Like, who am I in these spaces?
Yeah, fact.
And my dad, you know, he was a really good dad. He's a good dad. He does his job, but it's like since he was working so much just to provide, he wasn't necessarily in the house a lot. So
same with me.
A lot of like, okay, like the things you would, look up to your dad about, like my siblings were doing it to me, like just like how I moved and stuff. And I didn't realize that, like I just said, until later. So I was being that example for them. So if like, sometimes I have to yell at them, whatever, but like my sisters were looking at me as a primary example of like what a man is like. And there's a lot of things I wish I could go back and like fix where, it could be a better representation. But I feel like I did enough where they know like, all right, hey, like, this is what it means to be a man. Like, you don't talk back to your mom if she needs something. You help her out when she needs it. You do the little chores here and there to help her out. You don't just lay around, be a bum. You make sure you're out working, grinding, providing, like, and you're a safety for them. Like, the women in your house should never have to fear who you are. Like, control your temper, have patience. Like, all these things are really important about being a man. And, I might have not, like, seen it directly, but, like, when I would look at people and I would see how they would move with their families, like in our neighborhood or like at school, I see, who's an active dad or like somebody who's like, they on the outside at least, you don't know what goes around in people's homes. I'm like, okay, cool. He looks like, he's a good dad. Like, and I think that's just how I picked up on it. And I'm like, my dad's not always around because he's working, and I knew that. And he's got to do his job, because that's the come up as an immigrant, right? Like, you got to work, especially in this society. But when I saw like how those other families kind of moved, I was like, all right, I gotta like really buckle down and like show that for my siblings too.
It's crazy you say that because my dad used to always say, when I leave the house, you're the man of the house, And I used to be like, what? Like, what do you mean? He's like, one day something could happen to me. I need you, to take care of everybody, your mother, everybody. It's crazy you said that because I completely agree.
Yeah.
No, I feel like that was both great points. And with you saying that, let me not move this. But yeah, with you saying you learning from other people, I feel like that was big for me because I didn't grow up with my dad in the household, right? I feel like other male figures in my life, it could be at school, it could be after school, it could be around the neighborhood. I would always pick up on the little things subconsciously. You know what I mean? Like I would see when somebody is not acting the way they should be acting, like they would clearly face consequences, right? But also I would see how another guy would act or teach other young men. I'd be like, oh, I want to be like him. Like I just knew right from wrong, right? And then I feel like over time you take bits and pieces from every different guy, and then that's really who you become, regardless if your father is there or your uncle is there, whatever. Like I feel like that was probably big for all of us, or most men, for the most part. Like if somebody's there or not, you learn from everybody that's in your life. So I definitely resonated with that. Definitely.
Yeah, and super big shout out to like, the female figures in our life too. But, if you just grow up like with women around you, like they can provide absolutely if, there's a missing father or male figure. But I think it's important for young men to also see just quality, high level young men around them,
Yeah, that's facts.
And that's something that, it's just like, I always look like the grade above me. Like I would see how those kids were acting, right?
Yeah.
So I think in my goofy period, exactly, right? So I was like, all right, so this is how I'm supposed to be. But like, once you like know, like, oh no, this is not just like the only crowd. There's like people above them too. And then I got into sports and stuff. Like I started meeting real dudes, and I'm like, all right, I see how they hold it down for their families, how they act, how they move. Also, I'm actually listening more to what they're saying, and like. I look back now, there's a lot of gems, bro, that I just like did not pick up on. But like now I'm like, that makes sense. Like, big shout out Roy Howard on a wrestling team, bro. Like I know a lot. A lot of people, it's mixed feelings about him. But like I look back now and a lot of things he was saying, like it seemed out of pocket back then, but that shit made me tough. And like it was facts. Like I could do better in a lot of the things that he was saying, and he made me like more mentally tough. And I think back on those times, like I'm like, I was kind of like hating on him for a little bit, but like all he said was like facts. Like it made a difference. And I'm looking back now, I'm very grateful to have had him, in those performative and developmental years. But
sometimes the truth is ugly too. So it's like you're like, what are you talking about? You get pissed at what he's saying, but he's saying facts.
Yeah, that's important, especially like having mentors in your life. Like me, I have one main mentor, and I have multiple mentors like in different aspects of my life. And like if I'm thinking that like, I'm trying to figure things out and I don't know what the right path is, or I think I know what the right path is, and I just need someone to like just co-sign on that,
Yeah.
I go to my mentor. I send him a quick text. I'm like, yo, does this make sense? And he's like, yeah, it makes sense, but also think about it like this.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm like, okay, I could go back to the drawing board and come up with a better plan that will benefit not just me, but everyone around me. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to build a strong community. And to do that, you got to have great leaders in certain places. You feel me? Because you can't do everything by yourself. And like you said, like there are women in households that got to hold it down. And looking back, being young, I'm like, oh, my mom's not my dad. She's just my mom. But she also did things that like a father is supposed to do. You feel me? So exactly. So now that I'm old enough to take on that responsibility, she don't have to worry about all that, like protecting, providing, all that. Like that's my job. You feel me? So it's like it's so funny how like when you're young, you don't really realize things until you actually have to go through it. And once you go through it, you're like, damn, I wish I took all that information at a younger age because I would have been better now than I was before. You feel me? So you made a great point about just having those role models in your life.
Yeah.
You feel me?
And just building on that, bro, like when you find like good people around you, right? Use their knowledge. Like them older dogs, like they've been through it. So like whatever questions we have, we can go to them. And if they're moving in the right ways, most likely the advice they're giving us, like it's guiding us in the right way. And we just gotta be like smart enough to make the decisions and make sure, it fits what we're trying to do. But, great thing, like having mentors around you to guide you through these things. Cause like, for whatever it is, everyone has their own journey and stuff, but a lot of these hurdles, like everyone's kind of doing the same thing, like.
Cause at the end of the day, we're all human.
Right.
So we all go through human experiences. It doesn't mean everything like R3 goes through is not gonna be everything I go through, but it's similar enough where if you have like the general format, you could adapt and maneuver the way that you want to maneuver, which is really important. And why jump over multiple hard hurdles and not have the answer when you could just go to someone who's been through it? Yeah. And I'd be like, yo, what if I do X, Y, and Z? And you could be like, oh, I did that and this was the outcome. And instead of me going through it and taking days, weeks, months, years sometimes to fix that mistake when you could just ask someone who already went through it.
Yeah. And I think it's a lot about like our self-ego too, right? Because I know for me when I was younger, like I had the answer. And if I didn't, no one was gonna know that I didn't.
Exactly. Right? Yep. Talk about it. Yep.
So when like you're able to say, hey, I'm struggling with this, or I don't have the answer to this, and you're able to reach out, like you've already accomplished a lot right there, because you're putting your ego aside and you're saying, hey, this person might actually have the answer, might be a little better than me in this, thing that they're performing in, but let me tap into that knowledge so I can be better for myself too. Like, and that other person, hopefully they're good enough where they give you the right knowledge too, right? Because knowledge is power, and you don't know what you know until you know.
You don't know what you know until you know. And the thing is, it's okay to ask for help. I think that's one thing that I had to realize like later in life, because like, for an example, like I've always been like the one who's good in school. If I play a sport, I figure it out pretty fast. Like I was that go-to guy. Sometimes I go to people, I'll be like, yo, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. That doesn't make you weak. You feel me? Because when you need help, I can help you here. I need help, you can help me here. It's okay to ask for help. And I think, again, the ego, like especially in like minority communities, it's like I have to do everything by myself. Like I have to be self-made. Everyone who's self-made, they have people behind them, they have a support system. So it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to pick people's brains. Because at the end of the day, like with this podcast, we all had to come together, get help from outside sources, bring in guests, and we're learning together. It's a dynasty at the end of the day. You feel me? Yeah. So.
And not only that, I would have to say, don't try to live your life in someone else's shoes. Like, especially like at a very young age, I realized that one day I will inherit the role that my father plays in my family. You know what I mean? And he's done it way different than I've done it. And I can't try to do it the exact same way he does it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, he's had help with certain things, and I'm going to need help with certain things. And I can't be like, oh, my pops didn't do ask for help when this happened, stuff like that. So you gotta, it's okay to ask help, like people saying, and live your life how, you want to live it, be your own person.
Yeah. And one thing I just wanted to add is like, when you thought about like ego, right? I remember when I was young, like somebody told me like, just always be coachable.
Yeah.
Like in that quote, I feel like that quote stuck with me for so long. Like no matter who was talking to me, like some people don't even want to listen to older people, right?
Yeah.
Older person, younger person, somebody my age. I'm always trying to listen because they might know something I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like if it's a coach trying to listen to like even if they're repeating it, they might add something they didn't add last time. And then that's really when you learn, when you're open to receive new information or information you've already heard before. So if I'm gonna say anything, always stay coachable, even when you get old.
Yeah.
Always.
Also, like a great example is like young people, like listening to my younger siblings, because they went through certain situations that I didn't go through, because the world is different, like they're living in the social media era. So when they went through a situation, I'd be like, hold on, wait, this happened, and then this happened, and then they're giving me game, they're giving me modern game, and it's like, damn, like I didn't even know, like a prime example, like TikTok, that's a new app that's pretty much taking over the world. All the young people are on TikTok, so now that we're like relearning social media, and they're giving me game on, you should do this on TikTok because you get more views or more plays. And if I was in my own ego, I'd be like, what do you know about social media? But they know everything about it. So it's kind of like you can learn from the young, and you can learn from the old, and you can learn from people the same age as you.
Yeah.
Just always learning, continue that.
Going off of my personal experience, I talked to a lot of older heads, and it was like they didn't have the opportunities that I've had. And, they're like, man, you got an opportunity right now, you better take it, stuff like that. And, you might want to listen to them, take that opportunity. They didn't have that opportunity, and they still, got to where they, they're at, So,
exactly.
So that's very important.
And the same thing, like everyone can tell us and guide us and whatever, but in that experience, failing is also a part of it. And learning to persevere, because you're not going to have a perfect day. You're not going to have perfect outcomes. No matter how much you plan, there's going to be something that goes sideways. And a part of, growing into manhood is also adjusting to when it's not going how you want it, right? Because you could plan out everything, but, God says, or somebody, twists something, and something happens, and then you got to respond and persevere and overcome that.
Because the job has to get done regardless.
Absolutely.
That's one thing, like a man, that's one thing that I try to like preach a lot. Like as a man, the job has to get done regardless, Because if you're going to fail in life, but you being a failure means that you just stop. But you're going to fail in life, you're going to make mistakes, learn from them, and achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve. Because like you said, life is not going to be smooth sailing. It never is. If you think it's going to be like that, hey, I don't know what to tell you. You're trapped in the matrix then. But like, life is going to be hard. And because life is going to be hard, you're going to doubt yourself. You're going to feel like you're worthless. But build a team that's going to help you through that process. Because if you get help, then you're going to refine your self-love, and then you're going to eventually achieve what you got to achieve and more, which is really important.
Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like, this country is really special in that you hit it right on the facts. Like, there's so much abundant opportunity, especially where we live. Like, you can meet people, you can learn new skills, you can do a lot. Like, it doesn't matter where you are right now. You might not be where you want to be, but like, honestly, it's cliche, but like the bootstraps mentality, like, like, if I want to eat, I got to go get my own plate. Like, I can't wait on somebody else to feed me, right?
Exactly.
Like, I got to feed myself.
Exactly.
And that's what, like, being a man is. Like, you got to feed yourself, feed your family. Like, you got to learn how to do those things. You got to grind. Like, it might not be easy, but, like, work hard now so it's easier later on.
Exactly. And that's a good point. Like, you got to eat. And especially if you have a family behind you, let's say you got children under you, they got to eat,
right?
So you got to make sure you get the job done. And it's okay to ask for help. You don't have to do it by yourself. The job has to get done, but how you maneuver is up to you.
Right.
But it's okay to ask for help. Just always remember that.
And I want to just circle back to something Genoa said, because I seen it in this dude, like from a young age. Like, Genoa had a great ability to code switch and move in different circles, right? So think about this right now, right? We're all POCs. We grew up in a certain circle, right?
Yeah.
But, because of these outside situations, like a lot of our people, we don't move up sometimes, right? And it's not necessarily because of our own actions, but just kind of like how things are structured. But when you have the ability to, do what he does, and I think what you two cats do about like being able to code switch and then move into those different circles, you access different opportunities. Like, you might be most comfortable, with your boys, hanging, chilling, whatever, but you gotta learn to be uncomfortable in those circles and become comfortable.
Speaking gems.
Because when you get into those circles, man, that's when you level up.
Yes, 100%.
Like, man,
100%.
you hear me? I'll have my headphones in. I'm listening to trap, bro. Like, anything. I'm going hard. But, I'll take that shit off and be like, hey, how you doing, sir? Like, you got to be able to do both, bro. Because that gives you, when you're in all these circles, that's abundant access. Yes. And that's power, bro.
Everything.
You're making more eggs,
You're making more eggs, yes.
When it comes to, put your eggs in one basket, make more eggs. That's making you, more eggs.
Not for real.
Bro, that's a gem right there. And we're definitely gonna have an episode all about code switch. And honestly, I think you should be back on that episode. Definitely.
That's a good one.
But for people who don't know what code switching is, it's just being able to maneuver in different environments. And I can give you a simple example. The way that you talk to your mom is not the way you talk to your teacher. It's not the way you talk to your friends. It's not the way you talk to, your supervisor at your job. Those are code switching. You're able to speak to different people in different positions of power and still also be authentically yourself.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to put up a front. You don't have to be like, oh, I am this. No, like, I'm going to be respectful and I'm going to just change how I say certain phrases, but I'm still myself at the end of the day. That's really important. I want people to understand that your identity is your identity. Like, you are who you are, but because you're in different environments, you got to move a little bit different, which is really important.
It's crazy you said that, because growing up, like, my mom, she made sure, like, one of the rules was, like, when I'm outside my household and there's older, people around me, I had to be respectful, I had to say please, thank you, stuff like that, and she enforced that on, my whole family. And I think that plays a big role in why I'm able to code switch too,
Yeah. I think all of us, like, just growing up where we have, and then, even still being connected, we're definitely able to code switch. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen you all in different environments. We're all working in different environments, and we're able to thrive in each of them. So, like, props to you guys too, for real. Because it's not easy. It's something, like, you make mistakes in those different environments, or you learn from other people. So it definitely takes time. I'm sure I'm not perfect, but once you become confident in it and know you can, then that's where you're gonna be able to learn from other people that are not in your comfortable environment. So
that's valid.
And that's your development in manhood too, right? Like, if I have a daughter, right, I don't want to just be like mad stoic and like serious all the time. Like, I gotta show her like I'm very nurturing too, right? You gotta be able to be soft. If I'm talking with my boss, I gotta be a certain way. I gotta be professional. If I'm talking with my mom, like, I don't want to put up no fake front. I'm gonna be kind, whatever. Like, it's all grounded in manhood, doing these things, like, and that's a part of your development, going from that younger age to that older age. Yeah, so I think we got to learn to be expressive in certain situations and stuff too. Like, I think there's a lot of pressure, especially where we come from, right?
Yeah.
You got to be hard all the time, like, no emotions, like, tough shit, right? And actually, that's facts. Like, you can't be no boy all the time. Like, you got to know when it's trying to, like, buckle down, be a man, like, eat it and just, like, do that work, put food on the table, whatever it is. But you also got to show your kids and the people around you, like, it's okay to, again, struggle, reach out for help, be emotional, say, hey, I got feelings too, it's not always happy-go-lucky, whatever, like, I'm soft, whatever. You got to show them
okay
that.
to be human.
Exactly.
Exactly relatable.
And that's the thing I feel like's changed as we've gotten older. As a young man or a boy, you can express how you feel more. And as a man now, like, hold it back. You can't, you don't want people to know how you feel. In that moment or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think that's something that you brought up. I was thinking like to myself, it's like when are times where like I'm able to change from like just being 100% like hard masculine and being able to be like approachable, So I'm thinking about boxing. Everyone thinks boxing is just, you got to be aggressive all the time. In the ring, I'm a monster, I'm there's no sorries, there's no thing. No, in the ring, like I'm trying to hurt you. Outside the ring, JD sees it. People are coming up to me, talking to me. I'm just having fun, laughing, and then it's like a switch when I get right back in the ring.
Because
I understand my environment. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing in life. Like if I'm grinding, let's say I'm working hard, I'm in that full masculine mode, and then when I'm outside, I'm still in my masculine frame, but at the same time, I'm not like 100% like hard. Like you can still have a conversation. I'm gonna laugh with you. I'm gonna feel your pain. You feel me? Because I went through a similar situation. But certain environments bring out certain levels of masculinity in me. Because I don't have to be hard 100% of the time. We're on a podcast. I don't have to be like, hey, I'm a better man than you. I have to do all that. But in the ring, I have to prove that I'm a better man than you. Because we're fighting. So that's where like the code switch kicks in. That's when the different types of communication kicks in, and just being attentive and being aware of your surroundings and your situations. It takes time. Like I had to learn it my whole life, going from the projects to a private business college. Like I made a lot of mistakes, but I still learned it at the end of the day. Now I'm in corporate, and corporate's a whole different game on top of that. But yeah.
And I think you hit it on the nail, bro. Like, where do you use control? Like, again, you gotta control your emotions, right? If I'm getting in an argument with my girl or my wife, like, it can be very easy for me to just say, nah, fuck that, be like aggressive, whatever.
Yeah.
That's not productive for me and her. Like, I can keep my, tone down and I can still communicate with her. I gotta control what my emotions are. I can't be too extreme, right?
Yeah.
Being level is the best. Obviously, it's not going to happen all the time. If I'm heated, I'm heated. But I got to acknowledge that and be like, hey, I'm heated right now. I'm going to just take a moment. I'm going to go do my thing. Go in the ring, right? Control your emotions. Because it's easy to be a hothead. It's easy to just suppress everything. But it's like, now you got to find healthy outlets for like how you feeling. Because you holding it in, it's not productive for you or anybody around you.
Yeah.
Not only that, sometimes we let those emotions control how we think. In that moment, and it's like, damn, like you might do something you regret, and you're like, damn,
And sometimes it's too late. It's too late. Like you really fucked up your life, But again, you gotta be aware of your situations. You gotta understand yourself. Identity is very, very important. That's the theme of everything. Like you gotta understand yourself. And once you're able to understand yourself, then you can understand other people because you took the time to figure out what you like, what you don't like, what you can tolerate, what you can't tolerate.
And takes you off.
Exactly. And then once you figure that out, then you can figure the same thing out with other people. And it becomes easier. And the conversations become more fluid. And then, healthy relationships are built out of it. And that's what we want. We want people to have healthy relationships and build dynasties like we're building right now.
Absolutely.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, so is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Good. Anything from you, Mohammed?
No, I'm good. I think I'm good on my end. I think
you're speaking gems.
For real.
I think we hit a lot of good points, fellas. And I just want to say I'm so proud of you guys and the young men in this room. Like, when we talk about manhood, like, these are the conversations you want to be able to have with your boys and be able to pass down to fellas. And whoever's watching this, hopefully you pick up on these things and like, reach out, obviously, right? Like this is how we learn, this is how we grow, this is how we uplift our people, like to get us to better spots, sharing this knowledge and sharing these gems. So, super privileged to be here with you guys and talk. So
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me here.
Yeah. Before we wrap it up, what is the best way to contact you?
Me? Hit me up on LinkedIn, follow me on the gram, Uddin19, bro. Hit up P, he'll give you my info.
Yes, sir. Yes,
sir. I'm always happy to talk, grab coffee, help you out. That's, I mentioned it as one of my passions. Like, it's really about helping people get to where they want to go. So anything that I could do to help somebody, like I think that's the legacy I'm trying to build.
Yeah,
So.
and the really good thing about like everything that we're doing here with this podcast, you don't have to hit us like R3, me, or JD every single time. Anyone that comes on, you can hit them up too.
Yeah.
You feel
Yeah.
me? Because we might not have the answer, but they might have the answer. That's why we're starting to bring more and more guests on, because we're learning from them as well.
Yeah.
Because this is a dynasty. And with a dynasty, we're trying to build a community. And with the community, we're trying to build a village. And in the village, we're trying to build a city. And I could keep going on and on and on and on. But we bring in people because we understand that we need a community to continue achieving our goals. Because we have people behind the scenes helping us out with all of this, with the marketing, the video editing and stuff like that, the ideas. But again, self-made is not really self-made. They have communities, they have people behind them. And make sure you tap in with Mo.
Yes, sir.
You not tapping into him doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
because I tapped into him. You feel me?
We can leave my info in like the note section.
Oh yeah, we're gonna leave everything down there just for y'all. But
yeah, all I gotta say is you're not behind in life. Just keep moving forward.
Keep your eyes on the prize.
We are Gifted Eyez Podcast. Peace.
Love and happiness.